Hey guys, welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We are your hosts, Leah and Michelle. Today is the 10th of June, 2018. It is our regular Sunday show where we cover the top news in Europe and in the United Kingdom.
So I'm really excited to have you here today.
Tommy
Robinson.
I did that really poorly.
Hey, Tommy. I have that stuck in my head because if you, like us, have been watching the rally,
yes,
and the speech and Geert Wilders there, it's been so exciting, and I love the spirit behind the rally. Now, have to get this out of the way. There were some troublemakers. Some people got in some tussles with the police.
What?
But
there's always going to be troublemakers with everything.
And we've got to say, keep the protests peaceful.
Yeah, guys.
Recognize, though, that there are often infiltrators into these organizations.
Yes, and that.
To try to say, well, look, you have thousands of people, and then a couple, make crazy, things happen. All right, so I want you to see some of the size of this crowd.
It's so great with their little accent.
It reminded me, I hear that over and over again. When I was listening to it yesterday,
I love it.
It reminded me of like a movie. Yeah. Where you just you feel the spirit of like the I don't know, the English people, UK people. It's just pretty powerful. So I want to give you a piece of Geert Wilders' speech, who by the way was hilarious. He tweeted out, "I have landed in London," and then he tweeted out, "I went to the customs people and they asked me, what are you here for?" And he said, "Here to speak at a rally." "What rally?" "To free Tommy Robinson." And then he says, "And they let me in!" Exclamation point. Shocker.
Shocking. It is really shocking, actually, that they did let him in.
I'm here to tell you that you will never walk alone.
You will never walk alone.
And we are here to tell the world, and the UK government in particular, free Tommy Robinson.
Free Tommy Robinson.
And at this very moment, half a million people have already signed the petition for Tommy. And all with the one important message: free Tommy. So, Downing Street is just around the corner. So maybe once again, as loud as possible as we can, let them hear our message: free Tommy Robinson. So,
Here they go again.
Tommy Robinson.
It gets stuck in your head. It's quite catchy.
No, it is very catchy. So, Baker Mom was wondering where it took place. It took place in London.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Right. And they've been having rallies in Sydney, in front of the British embassies all over the world. And Geert Wilders is he's a politician from the Netherlands who we covered last year. We were kind of hoping for a populist rise there in the Netherlands. He came close. His party won some seats. Same thing with Marine Le Pen. They were neck and neck, the blondes, taking over.
The crowd there was humongous. I know Chris Holman here said there was 20,000 people. But Baza had said that the crowd was even larger.
There's a lot of people here. Look at that. I mean, they're just packed, and they all brought their St. George's flags.
Yeah.
And now that I know what that is, by the way, I have been schooled. I've been taken to school by our British British viewers, and I'm really excited about this. So I want to bring up some more video. There was a live stream that RT had, which I watched yesterday, a good portion of, but you couldn't see the speakers, but you could hear them.
Of our own people. Let me give you 3 quick examples. Brexit, number 1. The people of this country, after a 25-year struggle by UKIP, got the referendum. Against Project Fear and everything the political, media and international establishment could throw at them, they still voted to leave. And what?
I think you can get the idea of the feeling that was there. This is somebody else's live stream. I just want to give you an idea of what was going on the streets. Like all of London. Wherever you went, I bet it was just, hey, Tommy.
All day.
Tommy Robinson. Shut down Trafalgar Square this time, look. Shut it right down. See what happens here. Shame on you! 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 Shame on you!
I like the kid with the Tommy face behind his head.
Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you!
I want you guys to recognize something as we're watching this footage. These people are not there with the single goal of freeing Tommy. These people are fed up of the censorship, of the tyrannical government that is out of control, telling people how they can and cannot live their lives, and if they don't keep quiet about the things that are supposed to remain hush-hush, you go to jail.
Right.
Or you get fined or something like that. These people are protesting that they're protesting the takeover of their country by I'm going to say, militant migrant people. It's all encompassing. This isn't just about Tommy Robinson. So regardless of how you feel about Tommy Robinson, you need to be behind these people.
Nanny Robinson has a new poem. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
Post-event, this is Red Pill Phil with 2 very much celebrities at this moment in time. Very popular characters, loads of charisma, the pair of them. Who we're talking about, Eddie is okay, and our beloved Nanny Robinson. Now, Nanny, you're both famous, and you deserve it. You're brilliant characters. I so enjoy having conversations with a pair of you, seriously. So I thought, just like I've done with Sharon and yourself, it was a really good idea putting the 2 of you together. So I just thought I'd do the same thing again. Now, I'm going to start with you, Nanny Robinson, because I believe you've got another poem in the clip.
Yeah, another poem.
Let's just call it the obvious.
No, not at all. People love it.
It's a little bit. It's not on topic for why we're here today.
Right.
We love all people.
I did do one for Tommy Robinson, and that's gone out somewhere into the ether somewhere. So this one is what they're trying to brand us as. This is all the people that were here today are normal, common sense people, patriotic people that want our country.
Normal, common sense, patriotic people.
And they call us far-right extremists.
And they call us far-right extremists.
So this is my tribute to them. We are now seen as the haters because we hold our country dear. We stand for Western values and we refuse to show them fear. We're now far-right extremists whilst it's the left who hides their face, whilst they stand for evil doings with their prejudice and hate. The left has stolen values which we held, which made us great. The left now think diversity is compatible with hate. We are far right for hoping that our values would be free, not closed off now and silenced by those who've already bowed the knee. The left are now the fascists as they close down our free speech. They enforce their twisted logic whilst on others they do leech. They are the useful idiots who Soros wants to keep. They use camouflage and violence as they follow on like sheep. The right, whilst not quite perfect, have more noble plans afoot to retain this country's status and ensure it's not kaput. The right must now unite and fight, be brave and bold and strong, because these British loyal extremists called far right are not far wrong.
Wow.
Look at her smile. She's so
wow,
adorable.
you hit it out the park again. Another home run. That's it. Absolutely fantastic.
So that's Red Pill Phil. And as Worth a Look, a.k.a. Justin, points out, he is from Justin's area, Manchester. That accent is very distinguishable.
Red Pill Phil was interviewing these two ladies, and I'm not going to be sure I'm going to be able to find the part where she says it, but she says, let me see if I can find it.
What
I love
everyone
what
up
she
there
says.
is feeling, that's why they're thinking, hey, fuck this, I'm staying here, you know? And they're prepared to get arrested because of these little muppets,
I was walking down with my Justice for Our Boys. Phil, I was walking down with my Justice for Our Boys. Three coppers pushed me. The sticks got taken away. I nearly got pushed on the floor. I was running the street getting my...
She was saying that she got roughed up by the police just by holding up a thing
Wow.
for Free Our Boys. But she goes on to say, we are all Tommy Robinson.
Absolutely.
Because that's not even his real name.
I know.
It is a pseudonym, and he stands for being able to call out evil where evil is pushing through.
Right.
And let me just give you an idea of what they're standing against and why. Okay. Muslim, and this is a true Muslim, is indicted for shaking a baby to death during Ramadan. And his defense is because he was fasting, his nerves were on edge. So he killed the baby. Now, if that don't show, either we need to shut down the fasting now, or you're just a murderer, or maybe both. Both. I'm going with both. His wife works. He stays home to take care of his baby. That goes to show you he ain't no real Muslim. Oh, look at this. Look at this great Muslim man who's staying at home, ain't working, while his wife is working, but he can fast. He can fast, right? Wow. You know what? Weigh yourself. I bet you didn't fast. You got Pringles under the bed. Liar. If you're going to kill somebody, you're a liar too. You weren't fasting. You just messed up in the head. Messed up in the head. A Muslim man in France was indicted for manslaughter by shaking his 5-month-old daughter to death, and he blamed fasting during Ramadan for putting him on edge. 42-year-old man who is said to have stayed at a hotel with his child while his wife went to work every day. Bad Muslim. Very bad Muslim. As the couple were still looking for a home, was indicted in a Versailles court this week for manslaughter after admitting to shaking a young child to death on May 28th. When did Ramadan start? How long you been fasting, son? The man who lives in the commune of Montes-la-Jolie is said to have reacted to the young child crying by shaking her and throwing her on the hotel bed, and then the child fell. I guess he shook her again, and she fell and hit her head, and you can kill a baby that way.
Yeah, of course you can kill a baby that way. That's there. Here's the thing. I don't want to sound cold-hearted. This aside, I don't think there is an excuse for shaking a baby to death. No. I don't care if you're fasting. You made the choice. Even if it was the fasting and he didn't have the Pringles under the bed. Let's say he really was fasting.
Yeah, but that doesn't make you a murderer.
Well, not only that, but you made the choice to do your little Ramadan fast, okay? And if it makes you so crazy you're going to shake your child to death, I think that Allah, should he exist, which he does not, would probably say, you know what, maybe don't fast
Here's the thing. How many people die during Lent?
I don't know.
How many people murder people during Lent?
None. But I'm sure.
Blow people
I'm
up
going to
during
guess
Lent?
though that some people probably do die during Lent.
In France, one incident of Ramadan violence made headlines in 2016 where a pair of Muslims brutally attacked a waitress in Nice for serving alcohol. The waitress was left with a large facial hematoma following the attack. Violence during Ramadan in Europe and elsewhere is not uncommon, with reported cases occurring every year. Last year, there were 1,627 murders and 1,824 injuries during Ramadan, making it one of the deadliest Ramadan months in modern history. And that is one of the reasons why Tommy is behind bars for calling these things out and saying, oh, they're majority Muslim grooming gangs. And he gets kicked off of Twitter because he was off by like 4%.
That's not right.
He said 90%.
He could have been direct. No, he could have been exact and said the 80,
I know.
84 or 86%, whatever it was.
But to say that Muslims are killing people during Ramadan, somehow, you ain't allowed to say it. They will demonetize you. They do. They'll take your videos down. They'll shut down your Twitter and Facebook account. And in some countries, they will come and arrest you for saying during Ramadan, Muslims are fueled by, I don't know, lack of food, maybe they really getting into that Quran, man. Maybe they're being good Muslims during Ramadan. Maybe they are.
Hang on a second, though. Let's go back to this dude. With this shaking of the baby and his excuse being the fast. Mm-hmm. You do realize it's just a fast from sun up to sundown, right?
Yeah.
I do that all the time. It's not enough to make me crazy. Like, seriously.
Yo.
That shouldn't make you crazy. If you can eat in the morning before you wake up and you can eat at night after the sun goes down.
I know. You eat before you wake up?
Eat before the sun wakes up.
That's what you meant.
Yeah.
If you can eat before you wake up, man, you guys don't. You got a talent.
What I meant was they get up early. They literally do get up early before they would normally wake up. Exactly. Why you gotta call me out like that?
It's hilarious.
I thought we were tight.
It was really funny. I thought we had something going on. That's really funny. All right, this is
we're back to Geert.
Yeah. Well, I want to make sure that I give you guys a good enough overview.
I just want to point out the fact that we are so being censored right now. There are 63 people here right now, and on Sundays, that's usually our biggest day. And this topic,
I know, is being
lately
censored.
we have been so I'm not even convinced that view count is correct. Mm-hmm. But on top of that, people haven't been getting notifications lately. So while we're on the topic of censorship, YouTube is taking their job of censoring the world very seriously.
So this is a video of Group Raiders exit stage left.
There's a gap in this guy.
He is so tall. That's great.
How tall is he?
I don't know. He's taller than everyone. Always. But they gave him, because he's a politician.
6'5". Dude be 6'5".
And then he wears that blonde hair and dyes it blonde to really
I have no idea he was that tall.
But I love that he's
no wonder he walks like a giant.
He's getting a police escort. They had to let him in, and they gave him a police escort. I had two going on there, by the way. Sorry about that.
Kim Carlton says, YouTube is telling me I'm the only one watching. Again, with this, I mean, seriously, you can't trust anything. Oh my gosh.
Oh, right. So he's got a lot of pictures up on his...
I love the faces that he makes go down to that. Isn't that adorable? He makes the best faces.
Geert Wilders pleads in London for release of Tommy Robinson. So that looks like the Netherlands. Netherlands is commenting on it.
Like the Netherlands has a Twitter page?
Wilders
like
speaks thousands of demonstrators and to thousands of demonstrators in London. He needs no introduction. I told you that he said, "Why are you here? To speak at a rally. For what exact purpose? To free Tommy Robinson. Had to wait a few minutes with my security detail. Then they let me in."
I bet he really was worried that they might not let him in because he in the past they've not let him in before.
They have not let him in before.
So
yeah, they
yeah,
have.
that is not beyond the realm of possibilities.
Yeah, so I want to make sure I don't have any more awesome video to show you. Actually, I have, let's see, another article here. Islam means submission. Will you submit or resist? Baton Waters Kasim at the Free Tommy rally. UKIP leader Gerard Batten, who I am highly impressed with. He's well spoken. He seems like a very nice chap. I think that they have the other dude that was in. I'm glad he's gone. He was just an idiot. And For Britain leader Anne-Marie Waters and former Breitbart London editor-in-chief Raheem Kassem joined Dutch opposition leader Geert Wilders and members of Tommy Robinson's family for a massive rally outside. I believe his cousin spoke outside Downing Street on June 9th, which was yesterday. Organizers claim around 20,000 people attended the rally, where speakers called on the government to release the activist reporter and restore freedom of speech. Despite allegations, attendees were falsely told the event was canceled on the London Underground.
You're kidding.
Yeah. Tommy Robinson is a political prisoner, Batten told the crowds.
Yes.
Whatever the legal technicalities of his alleged contempt of court, he was in prison for more, for who he is and for what he says, rather than what he is supposed to have done. And that is the crux of the issue.
Yeah.
It's like Dinesh D'Souza going to prison
Right.
for $20,000 in campaign donations, and no one has ever in the history of America been indicted and put in prison for that particular thing. And he had just come out with the Obama's America just right before. So they went and tried to find something and they put him in jail.
Coincidentally.
Right. It's not necessarily to agree with everything he says. It's not necessarily to approve everything he does, but history will judge him as being on the right side of a struggle between good and evil, he predicted. The member of the European Parliament described the widespread organized pedophile rape of little girls by organized gangs and the authorities' decision to brush it under the carpet for years as the worst scandal in England's history. Governments in this country and across Europe are now the enemies of their own people. And that is true. Like, seriously, they're spending more time in the UK trying to make sure that there's no mean things on the internet than stopping terrorism.
Yes. They're more concerned with making sure that the terrorists aren't offended than stopping the terrorists from terrorizing and killing people.
Preach, you just said it. Governments in this country and across Europe are now the enemies of their own people. They promote policies that are against the interests of their own people, he rallied, citing efforts to sabotage Brexit, uncontrolled mass migration, and what he describes as Islamation in particular. A literalist interpretation of the Mohammedan cult is completely alien to everything our country stands for and our traditional way of life. And that is absolutely true. And at any moment, YouTube could stop the video because we said it. It's so weird.
But you said it so fast, maybe they won't know what you said.
Exactly. Now, Islam means submission. You either submit or you resist. Are you going to submit? He asked the crowds. No, they shouted back. Here's a piece of Anne-Marie Waters' speech here.
Wow,
I think she's actually loving this lately.
Well, I don't usually do written speeches. I usually know what I want to talk about and speak. But today I decided, a couple of days ago I was thinking about this, and I decided to jot down a few thoughts. And if you'll allow me, I will read those thoughts to you now. This is a message to everyone here, to Theresa May and her government, and to Antifa. I have a couple of things to say to you all. And to you, thank you once again. Once again, you are showing your commitment to freedom, to justice, and your opposition to the Islamic tyranny and supremacy that plagues our great country. Our leaders, our media, our police, all prioritize Islam in their decision making. So I want to let's ask the British government a question. Or better yet, let's put...
I'm going to make a little observation here that I find incredibly interesting. Anne-Marie Waters walks around with some sort of force field. Because she is not attacked the same way. They don't put her to the forefront. Right. They don't put her on BBC.
Right.
But she's allowed to say things that other people aren't allowed to say.
Yeah.
She says things that puts other people in jail.
Well, I think, though, the thing is that she doesn't have her own platform. Like Tommy, she doesn't, as far as I know, she doesn't have her own channel.
Well, she is the leader for Britain.
I know, but what I'm
political
saying
party.
is they can, I think that when you have that loud voice of YouTube and you are as popular as Tommy is, then that's, for some reason, that's why they come after you.
I'm talking about little people. I'm talking about the little people that they arrest and they put in jail. They don't put her in jail. They say the same things as she's saying. And this is just an observation. And I'm thinking because, maybe because she's a feminist.
Yeah.
And that actually shields her in a way in England. This is just me talking. That's my feeling that I get.
Yeah.
She is like a feminist and she's not real particularly loud or her presence of body is not overpowering.
Right.
And so they just let her be in an odd way.
Yeah.
I mean, because she says her stuff.
She does.
I mean, and you don't even realize what she's saying. Like when we say it, they take our channel down, but she's allowed to say it.
An MP into Parliament to ask the British government a question. Here are the questions that I would like to ask the British government, and I, in Parliament one day, and not too far away, will do so. I want to ask the British government these questions. Why is it so easy for our state to jail Tommy Robinson when it is so difficult to jail a group of men found with an underage girl in a bedroom? Why is it so much easier to jail Tommy Robinson?
5 hours, baby. Gone.
So Jim West said Waters isn't a big player here, so they leave her alone.
To jail a man for leaving bacon at a mosque, but so difficult to jail jihadis who preach murder and death.
Dude leaves bacon in front of a mosque. They put him in jail for inciting racial hatred, and then they killed in jail.
Then they kill him. Yeah,
he got killed for putting bacon in front of a mosque.
Pretty much.
That's insane.
The British people.
That's Tommy's videographer. Mm-hmm.
Why is it so easy for judges to make rulings that allow known terrorists and jihadists to stay in our country?
Patriot Gallery said something the other day, and what I'm hoping is they get 10,000 people and start singing "Free Tommy Robinson" right in front of his jail, and I hope and he hears it.
Yeah, that would be.
Why
awesome.
is the British government allowing ISIS fighters to return from Syria and threaten our safety? Why do we talk and investigate and get angry?
Again, I keep stopping because I keep having these thoughts. So if Tommy knows that this is going on, the amount of
morale
that he has, he's okay. Like he's telling himself, "Oh my gosh, how did this is a movement. This is huge."
Yeah.
And he's like, I will suffer this for the end result.
And so in that, you guys can't give up. Over there in the UK, around the world, we can't give up.
Right.
Because when we give up, then he will give up.
Right.
Angry about an accidental fire in Grenfell, but are expected to immediately forget or not look back in anger about the deliberate, ideology-driven murder of British children. Why are Muslims allowed to cover their faces with a black sack while the rest of us are subject to strict security?
Girl said it.
Why are children being mutilated and forcefully raped while the law looks the other way? Forcefully married, child marriage while the law looks the other way. Why? Why are animals slaughtered in agony and terror and halal imposed upon all of us in a country that has legislated against unsunned slaughter? Why?
So, and that makes that's really insane because, like, even here in Ohio, like, you have to stun an animal before you kill it, right?
Yeah.
Before you slice the throat. And usually it's a captive bolt or a gun. and they're actually feeding children halal meat, and in a way that it's just mind-boggling that, like, it's okay over here if you're not Muslim, that you got to do everything right to have animals treated right. And over here, it's like, you can do whatever you want, whatever, it's your religion.
Right.
So I do believe in being able to practice
standard.
your religion, but I would never, ever, ever have halal meat be in public, because that's religion. That's actually church and religion that I wouldn't support, to have halal meat in schools just for the Muslims.
Exactly.
And having everything like legislated halal.
Here's
for
the
these
deal.
Things.
If you want your child, if you want to take advantage of the welfare state that is public education, you can send your child to school with their
Your
own lunch.
sandwich. Right, exactly. And also, what I have seen, and I'm not going to throw all Muslims under the bus on this one, because I do believe that a lot of I'm more along the lines of, I want you to slaughter your animals in a home setting or something like that. It's more stressful to go to. But go to a slaughterhouse. But I've seen animals like packed on ships, and then like they die, and like some of the halal slaughtering. Like, if there's evil behind your eyes, and you shouldn't be killing no animals. Yeah. And I see this evil a lot of times.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a whole other subject.
Why is it so easy, Theresa May, to jail Tommy Robinson, but so difficult to do anything at all about the monstrous crimes committed in the name of Islam all over this country every day? Why?
She says it.
Shall I answer the question for you?
Yes, please do.
Because our government is facilitating the rapid Islamization of our society for their own political gain. The globalist elites want our borders open. But the truth about the religion of peace is proving to be a fly in the ointment. Therefore, they must not only hide the truth, but mercilessly persecute anyone who dares to speak it loudly. Tommy Robinson is one of the bravest people in this country.
He is.
If not the.
He's like Braveheart. William Wallace. Freedom!
He has faced endless persecution for speaking the truth. He has had his life placed in danger. He has had a barrage of lies thrown at him from the press. Lies that put his life in danger, and lies that put all of our lives in danger, and lies that put our country in danger. Shame on the media.
Amen.
Sharia law demands that those who insult Islam should be killed. The Western media demands that those who insult Islam should have their reputation killed. The leftist Islamic alliance wants us to suffer. It wants us unemployed and destitute, and it succeeds. When people have been fired from their jobs for criticizing Islam, when people face arrest for criticizing Islam, we are living under Islamic supremacy. And I am here today to say no more. No more of it. We're tired of this now. I'm also going to say no to the state, to this current British state, which betrays its own children by praising the ideology that murdered them. To say no to a media that portrays us, Democrats and freedom fighters, as fascists and racists, and to say no to a police that prioritise offending Muslims over the rape of young British girls.
It's true, they do, and she's saying it out loud.
Now, Tommy fights, and everyone you've seen here today fights, but most importantly of all, you are fighting. Get out there, take every avenue, every opportunity to resist this Islamic dominance of our society. Every opportunity. You can do this. Protest in the streets, expose the lies of the media, tell the truth. Use the internet, spread a message of truth and of freedom. And vote. And vote. Vote for those who stand their ground. Vote for those who are clear. We can have no ambiguity or hesitation. We can have no political correctness or appeasement of the moderates. We must know our fight and fight it. And we must say very clearly that we will not accept a life under the iron fist of Islam. And we will not accept a government that forces us to do it.
So pause that for a second because I want to be able to watch the comments, and I've got it paused here so I can read Sean's comment. He says, unfortunately, some halal meat is in our UK food chain, in our supermarkets, and not labeled as such. So many of us are eating halal without even knowing it. It is so wrong. We don't get the choice.
That's crazy.
We are the people of this country, and we're here to show the world, because the world is watching. We're here to show the world that we have had enough. We will no longer bow down to the imams and their demands. And we will stand together with Tommy and everyone here today who wants to be free and who wants to tell the truth. And whatever you do, whatever action you take in this fight, base it on one thing and one thing only, the truth. The truth belongs to you. And it can never, ever be defeated. It is stubborn, it will still be standing, and no matter how many names they call you, when they're finished, the truth will still be the truth, and there's nothing at all they can do about it. I want to finish with a quick message to the fascists who call themselves anti-fascists.
Did you read the subtitle there? To the Russians that call themselves anti-Russians.
The cowardly Labour Party
Russians
have
from
decided
fascists?
to boycott the event we're having on Tuesday. They don't think they have to answer to the people. Well, Labour may not be there on Tuesday, but I will be there on Tuesday, no matter whether I am invited or not. I will be there on Tuesday, and I will be representing the freedom-loving, decent British majority. I will go there for you. Carry on, keep going, keep going. That's all we can say. The two most important words to say to you are keep going. Thank you all very much for coming out.
I'm so glad that you played that whole speech because she kind of encompasses...
It kind of sums up the whole thing.
Exactly. Everything. And she's not afraid to say it.
Exactly.
More than a lot of people.
Exactly.
So I think that this is just the beginning. This is really just the rumblings of a movement that is far larger than you can imagine.
Somebody tweeted this out. Some of those knuckle-dragging white supremacists from today's march. Oh.
Yeah, all those white people. It's all just a bunch of white people.
Bunch of white
Always
supremacists.
just the white supremacists.
Casino acted as the master of ceremonies, kept his own remarks relatively brief, but passed on a message from the former White House chief strategist from Breitbart News executive chairman Bannon, expressing his support for Tommy Robinson, and offered his own thoughts on the shift in the political mood across the West. Look at what's going on in Italy. Look at what's going on in Poland. Look at what's going on in Hungary, he said. The people of these nations are taking their countries back. Are we going to join them? Yes, responded the enthusiastic crowd. I want to send a message to everybody watching worldwide tonight. You protested in Australia, in Israel, in the United States, in France, all around the world. Thank you so much for your support. But keep going, keep going, keep going. We We do not need people in spirit. We need your bodies in the streets. And we have for Sky News and the BBC and all these guys. Let me reiterate once again. We have over 20,000 people here today.
Now, something worth noting. This time, the mainstream media was there. They could not ignore this one.
Right.
And that is humongous.
Yeah.
And that's the whole goal. When it's so large that the mainstream media can't sweep it under the rug, it's larger than you think.
Well, yeah, exactly. Exactly. I like the way you say that. So over in Sweden, Sweden's left is actually collapsing. And they have this undercurrent of people who they've been silent for a long time.
Yeah.
And they just kind of be talking amongst themselves. But they're like starting to vote towards, and they call it right wing, whatever, anti-immigration.
Or they could just be building like fjords and getting blacksmiths to hammer out their swords and stuff, and like
that's what they're doing.
Go all Viking.
The leftist social democrats of the Sweden Prime Minister Stefan Löfven collapses. The Sentio survey shows. In the meantime, the right-wing Sweden Democrats surge and become the biggest party of the country. Jimmy Axon and the Swedish Democrats are on their way to become Sweden's biggest party during the next election on September 9th this year. The SD gained 3% of support since the latest poll and is now at 26.1%. At the same time, the Prime Minister's Social Democrats lost 3.6% of support and are at 21%, which is near their all-time low. So, in the last measurement of the month of May, News Today reported that not even going to try to pronounce it, is the party that increases most of all. The Svaner. And I have to tell you, that's seriously how things are said in Sweden. Because we are Swedish, by the way. Last name Svensson.
Oh my god.
Give it away. And our grandfather came over from Sweden
when he was 12.
He came over.
We weren't alive yet.
Stop it. When we were young, he came over when he was 12 on a boat, not on a fjord.
No, it wasn't a fjord.
Our family my dad's side of the family kind of embraced the whole Swedish thing.
They love that we're Swedish.
But what was hilarious is that we would ask Grandpa Svensson to speak Swedish.
He was 12. He should have known more. Like, that's not something that you should lose.
He would go around the house. We would go to his house. And it was time to see the funny Like, seriously, that's all. Like, that's all that came out of himself. So then when you say, stranger changes, I mean, that's like what he would say. So I'm sure
that's a word?
That's the party.
No.
Yeah.
Wait, let me see.
You say it.
I can't. I can't stop laughing. Wait. Stop. Let me try. Sverigedemokraterna. Oh my gosh. St. Mark the Evangelist says that Leah's Swedish accent always cracks him up, makes him laugh.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Since then, really more measurements have been published proving that trend. I dare you to say that word.
June man and then again.
From the center is no less than a political bomb. If it were a choice today, this political party, the Sfinge Gurja Diamond Kurnia.
Baker Mom wants to know if you're speaking in tongues. We do believe in speaking in tongues. It's in the Bible. I've been in a lot of charismatic churches. I've never heard anybody's tongue sound Swedish.
No, I haven't actually. The former migration party, the Moderates, also lost support. They went from 20 to 17. The Sentio poll was the final election result in September. If the Sentio poll was the final election result in September, the Swedish Democrats would be the largest party for the first time ever, meaning there might be some reforms happening into Sweden, which would be awesome.
My stomach hurts.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. That's nice.
Linked in the great effort to create a more just, peaceful, and prosperous.
Are we switching topics? You can't just play Trump and then let people assume.
I'm not going to go to the G7 just yet. Sorry. We're not going there just yet.
That was really fun.
All right, so
Erdogan.
Actually, let me play this. I'm not play this one. I'm gonna read this one. I want to talk about this one more time, and then we're going to Erdogan's thing because why he's acting up again is because of this. We covered this on Friday, but we'll cover it again. Because Austria is literally shutting down mosques and expelling dozens of foreign-funded imams. Like, this is a huge thing.
Leah always says Iman. Like, Iman.
I know, I even
like
spell
it. Like it's a Jamaican thing.
But Austrian Conservative Populist Coalition government will close 7 radical Islamic mosques and expel dozens of foreign-funded imams, with the populist Vice Chancellor Heinz Christian Strack remarking, "We are only getting started."
Oh, we just getting started.
The government made the announcement on Friday morning at a press conference as part of the coalition's campaign against radical Islamic ideology and the influence of countries like Turkey and in the Austrian Islamic community. The media reports between 40 and 60 imams, including their families, could be expelled in total. 4 of the 7 mosques that will be forced to close their doors are located in the Austrian capital of Vienna, including one in the heavily migrant-populated districts. And I want to be clear here, because as Americans, we must support freedom of religion. And in China, particularly, they're jailing ministers and foreign ministers, and they're jailing Christians, and they're shutting down churches. The truth is
funding these imams. It says foreign funded, but likely it is terrorist groups.
Right, and it's Turkey. Specifically in this particular instance, a lot of these are Turkish-funded imams. Their idea is not to bring people closer to God. If their idea, like Hindus, if
your makeup looks so pretty today.
If their idea was to like start a bunch of yoga things or yoga practices and really bring a religion where people like dedicate themselves to social causes and helping the poor and things like that.
Their religion isn't like that.
Exactly. It would be awful to expel them.
Right.
But that's not what we're dealing with here. And I want to be very clear because you always need to have freedom of religion. And if all that the religion that shall not be named did was teach people to give to the poor,
like Hindus,
and pray.
And what about the Sikhs that are all over the place?
Exactly.
I mean, come on.
Right, exactly. Even if you're doing crazy weird things, but once it becomes political, and once and
but
here's
hang
it's
on, no,
even more than
I'm
that.
gonna interrupt you because you're when you said political, you hit it spot on. Their goal is not to go to the UK or any of these other European nations and just practice their religion in that nation. Their goal is to have a political reformation and invoke Sharia law and make all of these countries an Islamic state. Right. That is the goal. And right. I know you're going to get to Erdogan, and this is a separate subject, but it's not really, because Erdogan is trying to rise up some sort of, new revolution where they take over, like the Ottoman Turks. They take over the world. They're going to try to cleanse the earth with Islam.
He's. I feel like he's had some sort of like seance where he feels like he's embodying the Ottoman Turks, and it's actually true. That's what he thinks. So, 4 of the 7 mosques that will be forced to close their doors are located in the Austrian capital, Vienna, including, the Nizam, I can't pronounce it, Association, which is apparently under the influence of the Grey Wolves, is prohibited from practicing in the mosque from any ritual rites, the Ministry of Culture said. An Arab organization, which also oversees 6 mosques in Vienna, was also shut down after being accused of agitating against the society and the state of Austria. All of the 40 or so foreign funded imams set to be expelled come from the Turkish Islamic Union for Culture and Social Cooperation in Austria, the ATIB, and are accused of violating funding laws. So far, 11 of the imams are under investigation, with 2 having their residence permits revoked. Interior Minister Herbert Kickle said that the imams must leave the country on their own or face a forced deportation.
This is incredible.
Yeah, and so you've got Chancellor Sebastian Kurz, leader of the conservative Austrian party, justified the mosque closure, saying the Islamic radicalization and parallel societies have no place in our country. Kurz has been one of the most vocal anti-Islamation critics with his party and pushed for banning the full-face Islamic veil, which should be a no-brainer. You've got to be able to go through public, and you shouldn't need a law. that says you can't cover your face.
Right.
Right? But here's the thing. People are using the full face, full cover to commit crimes. And it's a crime against humanity to force somebody. I mean, like, it's one thing to, like, have a Halloween costume on. And sometimes in some of these areas, they've arrested, like, Mickey Mouse suits because they were covered. Their face was covered. You know what I mean? And so, like, what happens when somebody does something stupid, you ruin it for everybody else.
Well, I think
you can't walk around with your face covered in a baklava,
unfortunately,
balaclava, and you can't use a full veil burqa.
What we have in society is we can't take each situation and judge it on its own merits. All right? Because I'm thinking about the fact that, these religions force women to do XYZ and treat them like second-class citizens. And as a society, we should step in and say, you know what? You're not allowed to do that. Even though it technically may be legal, but that's... what? Your religion is... However, the reason why, as a libertarian, I wouldn't be supportive of that is because I wouldn't want them to come and say, well, to Christianity, if a parent wants to... not let their child watch television, that's child abuse or something like that, to take it to an extreme. So that's why I'm saying you need to be able to judge each situation based on its own merits.
You know what I would kind of compare it to?
Okay.
You can't walk around with somebody chained to you. Like,
they do that.
You know what I mean?
Haven't you seen those goth kids do that?
That's weird. But, like, men can't walk around, with their wives just chained to them or something like that. Right. Like, it's like it is a forced thing.
Yeah.
And for most women, it is not a choice.
Yeah.
It's forced on them, and so it's definitely It's definitely crazy. So Erdogan has responded, and he literally predicts, "You won't let us take you over silently. Let's go to war." All right, war between the cross and the crescent. Over Austria mosque closures.
Wow. So I think that when he says he is predicting it, it's actually more of a threat. It's a threat.
Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan attacked Austria's impending closures of mosques and consequent expulsion of Turkish-funded imams, saying the move is anti-Islamic, while promising a response.
And you know what? He's not wrong. The move is anti-Islamic, and that's okay.
These measures taken by the Austrian Prime Minister are, I fear, leading the world towards a war between the cross and the crescent, he says, in a speech in Istanbul. Austria's populist government made the announcement on Friday morning at a press conference, and we told you about that. And Mr. Erdogan, speaking Saturday, said, "They say they're going to kick our religious men out of Austria. Do you think we will not react if you do such a thing?" That's not how that works, buddy. We aren't going to war with China when you jail Christian ministers.
Right.
That's not how Christians react. We don't go to war. Like, seriously?
True.
Around 360,000 people of Turkish origin live in Austria, including 117,000 Turkish nationals. Relationships between Ankara and Vienna have been strained since a failed coup against Erdogan in 2016, which was followed by a wave of arrest. Mr. Erdogan's speech precedes presidential and legislative elections June 24th, in which he faces stiff opposition. During last year's Turkish referendum and expanding the president's powers, we cover this. Tensions ran high between Vienna and Ankara after Austria said it would not allow campaign-related events because they had people living in Austria who could go vote in Turkey. And they were holding these really crazy rallies, and there was anti-Erdogan people, and it was just a mess. So, crossing the Crescent War, yay.
Not just predicted by Erdogan, but I think almost promised.
Yeah, almost to the point of, yeah. Okay, so we covered this a little bit, but Donald Trump, I say Donald Trump meant with the world leaders because that's the way that the bunch of world leaders got together, but of course Trump, the United States, is front and center.
Well, do you have that picture? Because I know that it's on the thumbnail here, but for people that missed the thumbnail.
You can bring it up, put it up on your little thing.
I can.
So this is becoming a meme. President Trump with his arms crossed, with Merkel leaning over the table. There's been a lot of back and forth And I know that I put in the title Justin Trudeau's eyebrows because I found it hilarious.
We're
by the
going to
way.
get to that.
We are going to get to that. This has been a whole weird thing happening because you have France, baby Macron, and Trudeau like, oh, Mr. Trump, we... at the G Summit in Canada, telling them he cannot continue to allow the U.S. to be treated like a piggy bank.
We're linked in the great effort to create a more just, peaceful, and prosperous world. And from the standpoint of trade and jobs and being fair to companies, we are really, I think, committed. I think they are starting to be committed to a much more fair trade situation for the United States because it has been treated very, very unfairly. And I don't blame other leaders for that. I blame our past leaders. There was no reason that this should have happened. Last year, they lost 800, we as a nation, over the years, but the latest number is $817 billion on trade. That's ridiculous, and it's unacceptable.
So you have that. I'm going to try to close out. There we go. The furious U.S. president speaking in Quebec, Canada, said the U.S. had been taken advantage of for decades and decades by the rest of the world. Donald Trump said, we can't do that anymore. And he said it was time for the U.S. to be treated better by the EU, Canada, and other trading partners not represented at the summit. He said the United States has been taking advantage of us for decades. People can't charge 270%. I guess our dairy is charged 207% tariff to go into Canada. And we charge them nothing. That doesn't work anymore.
Well, dairy shouldn't be going to Canada anyway, but that's
if
another
you
story.
have milk, you don't need it from another country. And that's what this is where, to me, I feel like trade balances are kind of an interesting thing to talk about because
perishable goods should be produced in your own country unless you grow avocados and mangoes.
Right.
And the other country can't get them.
Like, if you're protecting Canadian dairy farmers, I get it, right? I get it. He was fighting for a free trade system with no tariffs, no barriers, and subsidies. He said that's the way it should be. Tariffs are going to come way down. We're like the piggy bank that everybody's robbing, and that ends. He said he said extremely productive progress has been made during the summit so far. We have extremely productive discussions on the need for fair and reciprocal, meaning the same. I made a lot of statements having to do with clarity. We want and expect other nations to provide fair market access to American exports. I think he means exports. And we will take whatever steps are necessary to protect American industry and unfair trading practice, which there are many. We're going to get this straightened out, he says. The French official later revealed the talks to the U.S. were extraordinary. And he said, and so began a long litany of recriminations, somewhat bitter reports. The United States was treated unfairly, and the trading system was totally unfavorable to the United States and the U.S. economy. In short, a long, frank rant, which is undoubtedly very unusually in this kind of format. So it sounds like Donald Trump laid down some smack. So
but that picture that I brought up is so classic.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it
is awesome, by the way.
It definitely. Hang on, I'm going to show that again.
So,
just let that picture just sink in. This is a beautiful thing here.
Some people are going to turn this into art, by the way.
They should turn it into art. The face of who's that guy? I wish I knew some of these people.
That's a bee from Japan.
Okay.
So while there, make sure I get this at the right minute mark. Justin Trudeau was speaking with baby Macron. And the Twitter began to notice something.
Tariffs. His representatives have also talked about this topic, but they did not mention security.
At least
really
this guy's face looks normal.
Security.
And then,
as to whether he will be
you
there,
have
we
Justin
know that President
Trudeau's
Trump likes
eyebrow
to be unforeseeable.
It fell off.
But everything suggests that he will be there
fake
for
eyebrow
the G7 summit.
Piece to make him more manly
according
or
to his
something.
tweets this morning.
Falling off his eye.
What are you
smiling.
planning to tell President Trump on trade and Iran? And are you willing to use blunt language?
I think it's been a feature of the relationship
gotta
that
go
I
back up.
and certainly
hurting me. I
Emmanuel
wanna push
have
it.
maintained with the
I just
president
wanna
that
be like, just rip it
allows
off.
us to be blunt
Just
and
take
frank,
it
and
off
we
the
have
rest of the
been
way.
throughout
The
our
question is,
exchanges with the
did he
president from
use
the very
real
beginning.
human hair
I
for
can
that?
certainly speak personally to
Did
say
he
that I have consistently
some
stood
hair
up for
from his
Canadian interests,
head,
consistently
make a little fake eyebrow with it,
demonstrated
glue it on?
where we disagree, but done so in a
If you're not
polite
manly
and
enough to have
cordial
your own
context.
eyebrows,
I think that's
just
what
deal with
Canadians
it.
have always
No.
expected of me, and that's exactly what we're going to do.
You know what?
As I've said a number of times, we were
he
disappointed
feel
with the American decision to step away.
Unless he's kind of like,
Come here. Just 1 second. I want to pull Trudeau aside and be like, let me introduce you to something that women have had for years, decades and decades. It's called the eyebrow pencil.
yeah.
If your eyebrows aren't thick enough, ain't
Somebody-
nobody gonna know.
Somebody zoomed in for us.
He looks like a Romulan.
In a polite and cordial context. I think that's
But we could make his eyebrows look
exactly what we're going to
sort of like that with just a little bit of an eyebrow pencil. Son,
consistently stood up
it wouldn't take much. You don't need falsies.
demonstrated where we disagree, but done so in a
So embarrassing.
It's bad. It's really bad. It's unfortunate, and he's just playing it off. Do you think he can feel it
I don't
falling?
stood up for Canadian interests.
know. Is there anything that's not fake
Because
about
you would
Justin
think
Trudeau?
that you would kind of feel it like on your
Is there anything not fake about this guy?
yeah. I was blessed with great eyebrows. Very defined eyebrows. But you know, this kind of reminds me, and I want to tell you a little story. Lee and I were cheerleaders when we were younger. And we were doing it was cheerleading camp. And at the end of camp, you would do a production for the parents in the high school gymnasium. They even we were the Milford Eagles. They even had the Eagle mascot there. Think about that for a second. Why was the mascot there? I mean, really, it's cheerleading camp. The mascot shouldn't have even been there, but whatever. And we had to wear, do you guys, if you're from the UK, you're not even gonna know what these are. Well, maybe you guys invented them. I don't know. But Umbros. You guys remember those? They were shorts that were kind of silky. And they're like soccer shorts, essentially, is what they are. And I needed red Umbros and a white shirt. And I didn't have any. And so I needed to borrow Leah's. And that was actually when she was taller than me. That was a thing.
I was 3 years older.
So her shorts, I had to tie them to get them to stay on. And we're doing the routine. And y'all know where this is going. Here goes the shorts. It wouldn't have been that bad because as soon as they go down, I'm like, what, 8 at the time? 9, 10? Probably 10.
No, not that old. You were like...
I'm taking care of the issue, right? Here comes... I'm bitter about this. Still to this day, I'm bitter about this. Here comes the mascot. This is why public schools are bad.
She was one of the high school cheerleaders.
You knew who was in that thing? Mm-hmm. You never told me. I'm going to find her on Facebook. You know her name?
No.
We were going to look her up in the yearbook. She comes over and starts making, in the eagle costume, making motions like I'm doing, like making fun of me while I'm trying to tie these shorts. Okay? So when your eyebrow falls down or your shorts fall down, it is embarrassing. But Trudeau, there was no dress code that said you needed an Umbro eyebrow. You didn't have to be wearing that thing.
Right.
And next time, maybe you'll use an eyebrow pencil.
President Trump lashed out at a very dishonest and weak Canadian Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, on Saturday, just hours after he told a reporter his relationship with G7 leaders are the best they have been. Trump tweeted late Saturday that he instructed the U.S. representatives to withdraw support for the final joint statement from the G7 summit following Trudeau's remarks. The statement put in writing each country's dedication to lowering tariffs. Based on Justin's false statements at his news conference and the fact that Canada is charging massive tariffs to our U.S. farmers, workers, and companies, I have instructed our U.S. reps not to endorse the communique as we look at tariffs on automobiles flooding the U.S. market. Trudeau announced Saturday, following the conclusion of the G7 summit, that he plans to move forward with retaliatory tariffs in direct response to Trump's controversial new tariffs. According to CBS, Trudeau told Trump, "It would be with regret, but it would be with absolute clarity and firmness that we move forward with retaliatory measures on July 1, applying equivalent tariffs to the ones that the Americans have unjustly applied to us. Canadians, we're polite, we're reasonable, but we will not be pushed around." Just push that.
Oh, come on.
In a follow-up tweet, and I love that world leaders are now talking to one another via Twitter. Now we finally can know what's going on. In a follow-up tweet, Trump said he was surprised by Trudeau's statement because he acted meek and mild during the G7 meetings. PM Justin Trudeau of Canada acted so meek and mild during our G7 meetings, only to give a news conference after I left saying that U.S. tariffs were kind of insulting and we will not be pushed around. Very dishonest and weak. Our tariffs are in response to the 270% on dairy. After Trump's tweets, Trudeau's office released the following statement. The Prime Minister said nothing he hasn't said before, both in public and private conversations with the President. What did the President say earlier in the day? Upon departing Canada for Singapore, where he is slanted to meet with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un on Tuesday, he's in Singapore. He has landed. It's going to go down.
The Eagle
down
has landed.
Just left the G7 summit in beautiful Canada. Great meetings with relationships with with the 6 country leaders, especially since they know I cannot allow them to apply large tariffs and strong barriers to USA trade. They fully understand where I'm coming from. After many decades, fair and reciprocal trade will happen. And so here he's got this coming out, and Trudeau says, just kidding, psych.
Just said psych on our show.
Psych. So that's what's going down. And we told you before that Trump would like to know why Putin isn't in the G8. Why it's not G8?
That's a good question.
It's
all collusion, though.
Putin says, we never left. Let's stop babbling, get back to real work. Putin fires back at the G7 criticism on Russia. Russian President Vladimir Putin hit back at the latest G7 criticisms on Russia, saying they should get back to cooperating instead of... I'm not even plugged in.
I told you.
Oops. I thought I was. Sorry. The contentious gathering of G7 leaders in Canada, marred by strong divisions between the U.S. President Donald Trump and allies over, among other things, U.S. tariff policies, nevertheless finished with a joint communique. And then, obviously, Trump then rescinded his support there. Got the power. We need the power. Sorry about that. Thanks for watching, by the way. So in a statement which Trump said he will not be endorsed by the U.S., expressed the group's solidarity on Russia's alleged destabilizing behavior. It also lays the blame on Moscow for poisoning of the Russian Sergei Skripal. That's a whole other thing.
So what says Russia has 4 times the landmass of the U.S. and it makes no sense to exclude Putin/Russia.
Exactly. So I think that they should definitely be a part of the group. Speaking of...
It's like a friendship, though, when you said, when your friend's like, man, our friendship really fell apart and I don't know what happened. And they're like, dude, I ain't never went nowhere.
I never went nowhere. That's funny. This one, it's not funny. So, in the UK, 14-year-old boy who snatched 7 phones in 1 hour is banned from riding mopeds.
That's the punishment?
The 14-year-old boy who robbed 7 people of their mobile phones and other gadgets in the space of an hour, quite the, he should be part of Ocean's 11, in the space of an hour from the back of a moped, has been banned from riding any 2-wheeled vehicles.
Wow.
What a bicycle. The teenager, who cannot be named because of his age, went on a crime spree with an accomplice around Hornsey, Crouch End, and Muswell Hill in North London on Thursday. 7 people had their phones stolen. Officers seized the defendant from the pillion seat, but the driver of the moped rode off.
Oh my gosh.
When the youth was searched, police found 13 mobile phones, 9 of which had since been returned to their owners. The boy from Tottenham appeared at Highbury Corner Magistrates Court on Saturday morning, charged with 7 counts of robbery related to 6 mobile phones and an iPod. Dressed in a grey tracksuit, he indicated that he denied all charges against him. And he sat in the well of the court, flanked by 2 officers, rather in the dock because of his age, listing the case for a management hearing on June 14th at the same court. He remained the defendant into the care of the local authority. So he's ordered to abide by curfew between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m., attend meetings with the youth offending team 4 times a week, and he's barred from riding any two-wheeled vehicle, such as a push bike, a moped, or a motorbike. Judge McPhee made the defendant repeat his bail conditions back to him before releasing him from the courtroom. Be gone with you, you. Dude, man. That's it. Tommy goes to jail for 13 months, and this kid's like, can't ride no moped, thief.
Wow.
I don't understand. These judges in the UK.
So while you're at the UK, I did want to play something that Justin Hughes had sent that I just thought was fun. Let me see if I can pull it up and make it big here. Wait a minute. How do I... No, that's not what I want. Because then I'm going to have to... Is there a way to click on the link here?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So anyway... Are you serious? See? Everything is a conspiracy. I can't even click on it, though. Never mind. Now I can't. There was a guy that voted Remain, and he really laid out a really great argument for, you know what, this is a democracy, and 52%, and it's actually more than that now, that would have voted, but 52% actually voted Brexit. He's like, this entire thing is in shambles. We have a democracy. It's not about staying in the single market or the customs union or whatever. It's about when Theresa May said Brexit means Brexit. It literally meant we are leaving. We don't need to break it down into, well, maybe we'll leave this or maybe we won't leave that or this, that, or the other. And he ends it and he says, and by the way, I voted Remain. So I go to click on this link and I can't pull it up. I don't want to play it in just the messages because I get messages from a lot of you guys that would show up on the left-hand side there. But seriously, it was on the BBC. So maybe what I'll try to do is find it later and put the link to it in the description.
Play it again sometime. All right, so this is funny to me. In Iran, there's a lot of women are going without the headscarves, but they're supposed to wear them, but they go without them. They have these clashes with these, I want to call it
burqa-clad.
Come on, there's got to be a good word we can come up with these, like, burqa-clad little, like, they look like little, like, Pac-Man ghosts. You know what I mean? They, like, walk right through like little Pac-Man ghosts trying to get the little Pac-Man.
They're like the police, though. They're like a little patrol.
So I will wear whatever I want to wear. None of your business. You ain't my parents. She kicks him. You messed up everything. Morality police caller BATCH, by the way. Metro officer to morality police. You should not intervene. How dare you meddle in so easily? You aren't my parents. You meddle in everything. She put her headscarf on. She put her headscarf on there, and I want you to watch it again. I will wear whatever I like to wear. None of your business. You corrupt society with your ways. She's got her headscarf tied around her. And she puts it on.
Okay.
I don't even have a big one.
There are video cameras, and I love that I have an Irish one. Who reorganized this?
I don't know.
Mom.
This is a good one.
That women are forced to cover their hair. That should not be a thing in any kind of society. Like, it literally shouldn't.
So, like, we can't walk around any way we want to. She had it ready so that she was ready to just, like, pop it up. I don't even know how they wear them, but...
I don't know how they wear them either.
See, they've ruined scarves, by the way, because I kind of like scarves, especially if you wear them like that.
I kind of feel like Fiddler on the Roof, though. A little bit. Because scarves used to be a thing. I have too much hair. I can't even cover it all up. They would hate me. That's better.
This around is not a good
around
look
the neck.
me.
No, I don't know. It's not that bad.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. You know what? In the winter, I like scarves because you can.
And it has to be what gets me is it has to be so flat against the face because you can't you can't even see through. Like that's a little hair there. I could go to like jail for that. You know. No, I think you could still. No, because I've seen hair sticking out there, man.
No,
that could cause a man to lust.
I know.
That hair right there sticking out. Really make a man lust after you.
I know. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling flirty.
So what says it looks not attractive? Thanks, Rick.
Oh, good for her, though. Get your Karate Kid on. Good for her. I'm proud of you.
I'm proud of her, too.
I am so proud of you. Remain backing Tory MP reports church-going pensioning Brexit rebel amendments. So this church-going Christian woman with a little cross. Thank you, by the way. It's the Daily Mail. They're just awful, by the way, for the little advertisements on the right.
They are awful.
And 64 wrote to Antoinette Sandbox Local Conservative Association accusing her of treachery after she defied the Prime Minister by backing rebel amendments in the Commons over Brexit. In the email, which she copied to the Remainer Miss Sandbach, 49, the retared careers
I think that's mostly
advisor, warned that she could no longer vote for her because of her lack of loyalty to Theresa May and the party. But Miss Banahan, who volunteers on the complacency team at the local hospital, said, complacency team. I'm sorry. That was like dyslexia. She's a chaplain.
Britt Baza says the UK government have locked up the UK's first all-female Islamic burqa-wearing terrorist cell in the last week.
Wow. Yeah, they did. That's awesome, by the way. Said she was left suffering from anxiety and high blood pressure after Miss Sandbach sent a heavy-handed response warning that she had passed the message to police. Miss Banahan last night accused Miss Sandbach of seeking to shut down freedom of speech by reporting emails she does not like to the police. Here I've got an MP who's bullying people when they contact her legitimately. She has threatened to have the police come around. It isn't right. As their elected MP, she should be ready to be held accountable for her voting behavior. So the fact that this chick right here reported an email she didn't like to the police is absolutely, utterly stupid. How is she even in power? How is she even... and one more thing back to Sweden. I had this article. Swedish political leader. What you read about Sweden in alternative media is true. We are in a low-intensive civil war. Gustav... This needs to shut back here. Kasselstrand is the leader of the newly founded Alternative for Sweden Party. He holds a bachelor degree in economics from the University of Gothenburg and an MBA from another university. He's 30 years old and has been politically engaged since 2006. And I just wanted to let you know that things are changing. He says it's very bad. What you read about Sweden on alternative news platforms is true. We are facing problems more severe than ever before in our history, where Swedes face a situation of being a minority within 20 years and nothing is done to stop the replacement of our people. I would describe the problems in Sweden as some kind of low-intensive civil war with gradually increasing intensity for each day. What makes the situation even more difficult is the course of extreme political correctness that has haunted Sweden for decades, but which is now being finally broken up. The situation has gone so far that the politically correct people lose ground, and we are entering a state of retribution against politicians and media who bear the responsibility for turning my previously peaceful and prosperous country into a real mess, which is now used as a warning example for other Nordic and European countries. The political establishment is both unwilling and unable to do anything about the problems. So it's great to see people finally waking up all across Europe, and I think that's what we really want to bring to you guys is a message of hope.
Right.
And what do you have to hope for? You're going to hope for a place where you can wake up every day and you don't have to worry about a car bomb, or you don't have to worry about somebody taking away your freedom of speech. We all have to have reasons for living, and you have a right to natural rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness and property. And what happens when you have like George Soros coming in and the elites coming in, and you've got the EU and this mentality, they're literally taking away your ability just to wake up every day and to work hard and enjoy your life. You just want to blast Trump's presidency, saying everything that could go wrong for the global elites. They allow him to be their fall guy because he is so crazy looking, right? He blamed the Trump administration for the current woes in society, adding that everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. The 87-year-old who frequently donates to the Clintons did not mince words and accused the president of being willing to destroy the world. The bigger and bigger danger, the bigger threat, the more I feel engaged to confront it. As I satanic powers come over me. He said Thursday in an interview to the Washington Post. You need to see how evil he is, by the way. He had just finished an appearance. He was not a Holocaust survivor, by the way, in my opinion.
No, he was a take advantage of the Holocauster.
Yeah. He just finished an appearance at the Human Rights Watch conference in New York, Switzerland. So, in that sense, I redouble my efforts. The emperor fights back.
Oh, my God.
Soros was a charitable contributor to the Hillary Clinton campaign, and the billionaire has pushed for heavy donations to various campaigns across the globe that push globalism, but lately he has been faced with a slew of attacks from the likes of Roseanne Barr to Vladimir Putin, claiming things such as him being a Nazi sympathizer and controlling the Democratic Party.
All right, so England's Best says a literal modern-day Hitler walks amongst us, Soros, and yet he still walks free. Sean says Soros looks about 200 years old.
It makes it very difficult for me to speak effectively because it can be taken out of context and used against me. He said he's still in shock that Trump won the election, something he didn't see happening.
Stuart the Brit says Soros has admitted that everything has gone wrong with his plan. Very happy to hear that.
Everything has gone wrong with my plan to control the world. I love it. He says Soros is still in shock. Apparently, I was living in my own bubble, he says. Soros plans to spend roughly $15 million in the 2018 elections, but has already faced some rejections as several of his bids for district attorneys in California lost their elections on Tuesday. We ran into a brick wall in California, he added.
Wow.
The billionaire describes Trump as a masterist and considers himself all-powerful. He doesn't agree with fellow billionaire Tom Steiner's efforts to impeach Trump. Yeah. Do you want to hear his voice?
No.
Atlantic Alliance. This is bound to have a negative effect on the European and particularly on the German economy.
Yeah.
And cause other dislocations. The strength of the dollar is already precipitating a flight from emerging market currencies. We may be heading for another major financial crisis.
And we are, by the way.
That's the last thing we need.
When the devil sees the writing on the wall, y'all, it's there. We're there.
So I hate to jump topics, but I know you're not. Hang on.
That's
what I'm saying. Leah asks me to read the comments.
Read the
when
comment.
the show's over, she's like, you didn't read any comments. I'm like, I have to interrupt you to read them.
Read them.
And they go by so fast, I can't, even if it's not on topic, but I still want to read it. I'm going to read it.
Read it.
Britt Baza says, hey, Michelle, just a thought. What was the British Army soldiers, or what were they called in World War I and World War II? Answer, a Tommy. So the name Tommy Robinson is very fitting, don't you think? I do.
I love it.
I like that a lot.
It's awesome.
Economic stimulus of a Marshall Plan should then kick in just at the right time.
The economic
Stacey says he reminds her of the crypto
case for remaining a member of the euro is strong, but it will take time for it to sink in. During that time, the EU needs to transform itself into an association that countries like Britain would want to join.
I think we've heard enough of him.
In order,
I have to tell you, the way he's reading that, he is not the Godfather, right? There are world around, things are going our way.
Everything's going my way.
I should play this again.
Hey, Tommy Robinson.
This is getting... You tell me!
Oh, you got it right.
You didn't cover the altercations that happened with the police. I mean, it got really heated.
It did get heated, and I think we kind of covered it in the beginning.
Well, we spoke of it. We didn't
really
actually show it. But like Leah said, there are going to be plants involved for sure to make it look like there was a lot going on. The difference between that and let's say what happened in Charlottesville, where Millie Weaver was covering, it was like every single social justice warrior that was there was throwing, you know, water balloons
have
of
already
urine.
signed the petition for Tommy.
And he always is so sharply dressed.
Us, Theresa May. Listen to us, Sajid Javid. Listen to us, Sadiq Khan. Listen to us, all you in power. We want the release of Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson is the greatest freedom fighter of Britain today.
I like that.
We want Tommy out. Tommy Robinson is a freedom fighter. He says what no one dares to say. He has guts. He has courage. And that is more that we can say. With Islamization. With open borders. We are almost foreigners in our own land. And if we complain about it, they call us racist or Islamophobes. But I say, no more. And what do you say? No more. And that's right. Enough is enough. We will not be gagged anymore. No more tyranny. My friends, 75 years ago, your fathers and grandfathers liberated my country from tyranny.
Pause that. I'm being told that the stream is getting bad. So before it shuts down on us in some sort of weirdness.
Yeah, we
are finished. Yeah. We are at the end of our show.
Yeah.
So I want to thank all of the moderators who were here. Maia, Rosa, Sharon, Worth a Look. I don't think I saw Gary here today. I think I saw Kelly, Britt Baza, Sean. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you all for being here. If you left a comment that was pertinent, I was actually watching the chat today and there were a lot that I wish I could have read out loud. Please leave your comments in the comment section after the video processes. Earlier, someone had asked, and I don't remember who it was, about the damage from the flood that we had and how our farm was doing. We are slowly but surely putting pieces back together. It's mostly a lot of gravel shifted, a lot of wood chips that we use for mulch shifted, a lot of logs that we use to edge things shifted. So it's a matter of getting all of that put back into place. It was kind of supposed to rain this afternoon, and it didn't. I'm hoping it doesn't. Adeline would like a song. Leah is getting her guitar right now. So I guess even if the stream is bad, we're going to do a song. Speaking of streams, on Chris Holman's channel, he and Kelly, PB Fam, went live about the veterans on patrol. I know this is American news, but still. Maia, maybe you could go grab that video and put it in the chat. I want you guys to share the heck out of that because it's something that's being censored here in the United States. They're not talking about it as much as they should. So I want you guys to go and watch that video and share. All right, so we're going to shift the camera here.
So Michelle used this paper, Battle Hymn Republic, to cover up some Daily Mail
I did do that.
images. And I was like, this is a perfect song. I know that what's going on in the UK, British, and it's Battle Hymn Republic.
Hey, why not?
But
it's fitting for everything.
The sentiment is the same. Fighting against tyranny.
Right.
It was a bad British government at the time.
Yeah.
We have bad British government right now. And
yeah,
we will fight with our British, it wasn't the British citizenry, it was the king. So here we go. All right. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He is trampling out the vintage where the grapes of wrath are stored. He has loosed the fateful lightning of his terrible sword. His truth is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. I have seen him in the watchfires of 100 circling camps. They have builded him an altar in the evening dew and dance. I can read his righteous sentence by the dim and flaring lamps. His day is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. He has sounded forth the trumpet that shall never call retreat. He is sifting out the hearts of men before his judgment seat. Oh, be swift, my soul, to answer him. Be jubilant, my feet. Our God is marching on. In the beauties of the lilies, Christ was born across the sea with the glory in his bosom that transfigures you and me. As he died to make men holy, let us live to make men free. Our God is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on.
And that is so true that is very, very perfect
Yeah.
for what is going on in the UK right now.
I need-
What are you doing?
What am I doing? I was going to do that song.
You're going to do this song right now.
Why not?
You're going to do, but
But what?
it's not ready.
It is.
It's not ready.
It's just a short little song. What do you mean it's not ready?
This isn't the big song.
No.
Lee's got a song about duct tape and twine, and it's awesome, and it's not ready yet. This is a different one. Okay. wrote this one this past week, though. Both of them.
Wanna give you 99, wanna give you 100, don't wanna give you part of me, but all of me. Wanna let go of my past, wanna hold you tight and fast, let go of this world and cling to you. And I just wanna praise you, oh Lord. And I just wanna praise you, oh Sydney is stuck at the bottom of the stairs.
Oh, so somebody had said Reckless Love. We try not to play mainstream.
Is that a mainstream song?
Mainstream Christian songs. Very much. Just because they can get a little bit played out. However, I love that song. We will play it. That is a promise. Leah actually printed out. Leah, what's that song that you printed out?
River.
How does it go again?
Going
Down to the river, you will be changed. So we're working on that, and we will play it.
Down to the river.
Down to the river to pray. Let's get washed by the water, rise up in amazing grace. Going down. So we're gonna play that song. You're not playing it right now.
Oh, no.
Okay, good. Because it needs tweaking. We don't have a lot of time to practice music like we used to. We used to play music for a couple of hours every few days, at least. Thank you guys for sticking around.
Yeah.
For music time, Sunday worship, as Stacy said. So, you guys are fantastic. Maia's been putting the link to Chris and Kelly's video in the chat. Watch it, share it, comment on it.
Yeah, thanks for doing the research, you guys. It was really good.
You guys did the research that we didn't do. Yeah, we were sitting here cutting strawberry tops from our strawberry picking, and we all watched it. I was totally engrossed. So, we will see you back here for sure on Friday, 6 p.m.
Hopefully before then.
Yeah, because we want to... We're not... I hate to say this because it'll jinx it, even though I don't believe in jinxing. We're not as busy as we were the past month. Yeah. So we should be able to go live at least one more time this week before Friday, at least. So, all right. We love you. God loves you. God bless. Our P.O. Box is 107 Milford, Ohio 45150, where you can send letters that we will read on air. I haven't checked it in a while, so I need to go and do that. Remember, it's not just a conspiracy theory.
If it's the truth.
All right, you guys. Good night. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Those of you in the UK are probably going to bed here soon.
Tommy
Robinson.
Hey, Tommy Robinson.
I kind of went in a different pitch because they do too, and you'll notice that. You got somebody that screams it the way I just did, and then you got the low guys. Yeah, but somehow, all of those UK accents meld together into one.
Don't they? When they do that.
That's true.
Yeah. Hey, Tommy.
Bye, guys.
Tommy Robinson.
I was caught